Hello everyone that's joining. Just wait for Grant to come in. Hopefully we can get him in here. Alright, it says unable to join with you, Grant, so sort it out. Hi everyone, thanks for coming to watch Grant. Still says Grant's unable to join, so I'm just gonna chill and wait for him to come in. New location, as you can see. Come on, Grant. Where are you? Hopefully we can get in here in a minute. Thanks for joining me anyway. Episode 5, I think, of the core room. This should be a good one if Grant ever makes it in to the live stream. Still not with us. This is going to be so awkward if I'm just sat here on my own waiting for Grant. Here we go. Right, okay. Let's go. Waiting for Grant. Here we go.
There we are.
There he is, the big bro. And now on purpose, I haven't spoke to Grant today or recently because I just wanted this to be fresh. I didn't want him to have any ideas of what questions are coming up or anything. Obviously, I know a fair bit anyway about Grant's swimming career, but this will be an interesting one for me. I've been really looking forward to this. So welcome to the call room, Grant.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on episode 5. This is going to be a really special one, and I hope you feel the same. I hope you're not just rolled out of bed from a nap and joined me.
I've been working.
Dad's just joined us, so.
That's in. Also good. There we go.
So, the first question that I ask everyone, I hope you know that and you've been watching the episodes, but the first question that I like to ask everyone is, what type of core room athlete were you? Or are you? I know it's were for you. And before you answer that question, just have a think about it. Whilst I just explain to people that may not know, the core room is the room that athletes go to before they race to get ready to compete at the best they can, so physically and mentally prepare for the race. And there's all sorts of different types of athletes in the core room. So Grant, what type of core room athlete were you?
I'm going to try to analyse these questions because I know you hate that ethical game.
I knew that was coming.
Try to answer this in 15 minutes. I think I was 50 a lot of the time. Didn't take it very seriously. Had a joke, and then the other half I was super serious. Goings on, hood up, Eminem style. And I think that worked. Both of those worked for me about half the time. So I don't know which one I did, but I was never in the middle. Jokes out, I was always really far one and really far the other.
Yeah, I do remember you having the headphones on sometimes, and then other times just having a good old laugh with everyone. So I think it's nice that you did both as well. I think it's important to be able to do both as well because different situations happen before a race. Now Lucy is saying hey Grant, and I know a lot of people are tuning in, they wanted to watch you on here. So I wanted to start with some either ors because I always like to start with those, as you know. Hopefully, again, you've been watching. And then I'm going to ask you to just sort of give a brief overview of what your swimming career was like. Again, like you've already pointed out, don't go in too deep because we do have questions for you that I'm sure you'll have fun answering. So we'll do the either ors first. So don't think about it. Just give me one word answers. And don't ask me questions like, what if this or what if that? It's just quick fire, all right? So, sprint or distance?
Sprint.
Racer or trainer?
I was a trainer, a racer.
Okay. Kick or pull?
Kick chat.
No. One word.
Kick.
Individual bronze or relay gold? The fact that you've paused already is just...
Wait, individual Individual what, sorry?
Bronze or
Yeah.
relay gold?
Oh, relay gold.
Okay, good. Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Disney or Universal?
Disney. We famously a Grand Tour, but Disney.
Speedo or Arena?
Arena.
Hot or cold? Train in a hot or a cold pool?
Cold pool.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Oh, why would you do
One word. Quick
Xbox?
fire.
Xbox.
Xbox. Oh, controversial.
Yeah.
Watch a film or a TV series?
TV series.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Go back for an hour, back in time for an hour, to any time you want, or go to the future for an hour.
Go to the future for an
hour. Would you rather be the funniest in the room or the smartest in the room?
I'm usually both, but
I knew there'd be some smart comment about that. And people watching that know you will know that that was going to be an answer you were going to come up with. Funniest or smartest?
Funniest.
Airsofting. You could airsoft or acting. You could only do one. Okay. Airsofting or acting?
Airsofting.
And the last one is honeycomb or salted caramel?
Salted caramel.
Okay. Interesting. That's breaking the I was going to say breaking the ice, but I don't think the ice needs to be broken in this situation. I don't need to ease you in. I should have just thrown you straight in. To everyone that's watching, thanks for watching and joining in. We're just about to start the questions for Grant, but I just want to, first of all, for him to give an overview of what his swimming career was like and some of the things he achieved and all that sort of stuff. So Grant, take it away. Do my job for me.
Well, I started, as you well know, what's really been doing you at the Nationals, in how successful you were, and you were something, and I thought, yeah, I could do that. It wasn't too bad. Started to train hard. That led to Nationals, everything else. I think I started my international was open water. So I started 3K, 5K. And then as I got older, I went to the gym. As people know, I'm not low weight like a distance swimmer. So I got old and people kicked in. I did less and less. An 800, managed to wing it in 100. I think I was in most of my international, the 50s and 100s after that. And then anything far. It doesn't matter weight.
I think it's important to say that you start the clubs that you went to. So you started at Saracens, and then we both went to Manchester for 9 years.
I've been watching the others.
Yeah, and then Stockport for the last, how long? 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I think just over 3 years at Stockport. So I started in Hazel Grove at a club called Saracens, which is very close to my heart. My mum for decades, and it was there that swimming wanted to be a little bit. Then I joined six, where it was for probably about 8 years, maybe. Yeah. Time, and then we moved to Comas when it was time to Stockport, which was home, and then we from at Stockport for 3-4 when I was Stockport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we've got some great memories. I mean, we could sit here all night and talk about them, and we often do. But the first question was, if you didn't swim, what sport would you have done, do you think?
I really like the swimming, but I think if I was to choose another sport, I'd go with some team-based. I think I would have enjoyed, like I say, with maybe a contact sport. Ball, I know that's not very But yeah, maybe something like American football or contact sport. I think I thought after coming on my own, looking at the black line for hours and hours. So
Yeah, it's not the most amusing sometimes, is it, looking at the black line at the bottom of the pool. But we did some things at our clubs to keep it interesting.
definitely made for some adults.
So the next question was, and I think this might be from a fellow Saracen, but it was, which coach pushed you at Saracens to make you a better swimmer? Which was the coach just about?
It's probably the coach that I'm going to answer with, because there's only one really that was my coach, and all. That's Kevin Nuttall. Yeah, was my first head coach. He even coached in Manchester for a great period of time at squad level there, but background that's helped me. Where it all started, really, been nothing but supportive ever since. So, all the way, great.
Yeah. And you know, they definitely supported all the way through. You not being biased, because and it will come across that I am, but I think you had one of the best starts. You were always way ahead from the start, and I put that down to things like training at Saracens and practicing those when we were younger. So,
technique trained at Saracens. It's kind of a pearl of wisdom. Is a massive part.
Yeah.
Be the fittest, still lose if you take. The Saracens really early age on technique.
Yes.
Starts and turns, especially in the water. You know, I don't want to get on, but my water was always part of the race, and obviously I tried hard over the years, but started Saracens before.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, this next question sort of goes on from what you've just said, but who taught you to swim?
It depends.
There's a few people you could mention.
It depends how you look at it, because it was my mother that dropped me into the water and said, "I'll drown." But I think it was Wednesdays that we used to go to Leven with Mum. You and I learned to swim. So that was that was when I didn't drown. And then again, we're going to go proper rather than keeping my head above the water. So I inhale.
I'm glad you mentioned Mum there.
And also, Dad gets like the underwater version of British Bulldog. Probably
yes.
My underwater.
Yeah. I have this was an interesting one, and I want to know this. I feel like I should know it. Who was your inspiration through swimming? Because I've never really asked you about this or spoken to you.
I didn't really like looking up. Probably just sheer arrogance. Hopefully I've matured. But yeah, as I've already mentioned, the thing that got me into swimming properly, I'd stop my goggles. I'd go to the toilet.
My goggles are broken.
I'd come back from the toilet with red marks down the side of my body like a squashy from where the hot water had been on my body.
Yeah. I'd look across and be like, "Where's Grant?" And then you'd walk out of the toilets with 2 red marks from the shower you've been stood in for about 20 minutes. I was like, oh, here we go.
I don't ever remember thinking about that when I was telling the lie. So again, it was either just didn't really care. One of the two. Yeah, so it was you. You were to say who was your inspiration, start swimming, and then who kept going. Definitely you.
That's not. I didn't ask that question on purpose, by the way.
Yeah.
But thank you. That's lovely of you.
Well, it was not national. I didn't make nationals. Why would I have done? I think I was probably 13, and I watched. No, maybe I was 14. Watched you go to national. Absolutely clean up, and you deserve to because that point, and I thought probably pull my finger out. Really, that was definitely a turning point.
Yeah.
Sort of I attended it.
Well, one of the things about you when you were younger, you just sort of cracked on. You enjoyed it, but you were never too bothered. And I almost wish I was a bit like that myself when I was younger. Sorry, there's a fly here. And then you, like you say, you watched me at nationals, and you said, you know, that you wanted to do it, and there was absolutely no reason you couldn't. And then you started knuckling down, and then you started smashing it and doing really well as well. I remember watching you qualify in the 1500, and there was a line of us on poolside. If you remember at Manchester, I'm sure you do, in pain. Yeah. Wishing we would, because I remember I'd cheer you on through a whole 1500, and you'd get out and you'd be like, I just wanted you to go away, really. Not in a bad way, but when you're working that hard and people are telling you to go faster, it's not easy.
But no, I remember that every time, you know, you're in there and you're in attack mode. It's like when you train hard, you know, you're doing a comment. Yeah. The circumstances would be fine.
No.
Rage.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
You got
what a question that I haven't got down, but I really wanted to ask you, and it's just popped up in my head now. And this can be quite a deep question, but it's one that I think about often, even now through swimming. And that's, do you get what you deserve? Do you think?
So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, no, go on.
No, well, I remember having a row with a coach. He was adamant. He was absolutely. I think to a point. I think 85%. You're never any good if you don't at least train hard a bit. But I've known people who are bloody good and didn't train that hard. Trained ridiculously and quite. So I think it's a combination. Working hard. You need to work hard,
yeah.
But I think there's been instances where went less hard and gotten. So it's kind of a yes and a no. So
yeah,
really,
it's that. I think it isn't like I absolutely agree. It's definitely a mixture. And I asked that question, and because in my career you're one of the hardest working athletes I got to work with, and you know, you didn't train any less. Well, I didn't train any harder than you did, and so when I made teams, you know, sometimes I was like, I'd look at the swimmers around me and I'd be like, I'm lucky because these guys are doing the same as me, and you know, Grant's putting just as much effort as I am, and so it's an interesting one because it's like, people do say you get what you deserve, but do you? I don't know. It's definitely a mixture of things.
Yeah, I think. But I would also temper that, and I say this to everyone, like with some actual maturity. Yeah, whilst I did bloody hard or in the quick fire, you know, when I was training, and you know, I can say anyone who's trained with say that. But as I said, wasn't that good a racer. Loved racing. Loved when I got on the block. It was mindset great, but the racing, I don't think the results, the best results from the train.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you might say, "Oh, what a shame." I also then look at, there's no way I deserved it. You did, because when you were going to.
You weren't. We just leave it there. You weren't.
I wasn't.
When I was going to bed at 8, you were just getting up.
Oh yeah, exactly. Early, so I'll just read through to it and carry on. How I need like 12 hours a night. I feel rubbish, but in diet as well. I'd have a pack of water twice about it. So
yeah, but is it you know. That's an interesting one. Someone did ask me, do you have any regrets about your swimming? If you could go back, would you change anything? Or, you know, are you happy with how it went?
That's a weird one because I absolutely loved my it. And when you say, would you change the journey, and it changes. So I would change it. It's now to go back and should have worked harder. I should have gone ahead.
Yeah.
I probably would have just ended up or playing my Game Boy. You know, so it's you get one chance. I'm not going to say, oh, I regret it. There's no point in that. I had a great journey. I love my swimming career. I'd do it all in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to. Or I would have done this on to the Olympics. Because, yeah, I don't really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
fair enough. Yeah, no, you had a great career, and I didn't think you would change anything. I know you have some great memories as well, and we're going to get into those now. So the first one is the best team that you ever made, and why, you know, what made it the best team?
The best team I ever made. Looking forward to that question, but I'm probably going to say the time I felt on a training camp was instead of making a team or something. I think when we trained together, certain swimming camps were horrendous in terms of how mental, how it were, and I one of those about for themselves, and and I was lucky to have you. At the very least, I could. But there were some camps where it was just everyone together, even people you didn't like. Not saying that I didn't like. Let's be clear.
Not offending anyone. We're not.
It's a difficult one because there were quite a few good teams where I looked around and thought, you know, I'd find any of these if I was having a bad day, and yeah, I don't think I'd be able to like. There were quite a few that were exceptional in terms of team and relying on each other, because it mentality. All the swimmers will get through it. Like it was special forces selection to get to the end.
Oh dearie me. Now I'm gonna throw you under the bus here with a lot of people. But who's the best teammate you ever had? We're gonna go, and I'm gonna give you options, so you're not just throwing everyone under the bus. Yeah. Now, obviously, it's me, but don't say me politely. Ignore me. I want you to say the best one that you had with the teams that from the teams you were in. And then outside of the teams that we had, because you obviously went away and trained with people, and you trained once a week on Beacon and stuff like that. So the best in a team, and then the best away from the team. Okay.
It's hard because there's amazing women, isn't it? Like I was super close to someone at one point, and then
yeah.
I think let's go precious. Let's go last 4 years of my swimming. Let's be honest. Kind of
hitting this.
So, but I was really training hard and really dedicated. And
yeah.
Apart from you, of course, I'll probably say Kieran Bear-Jones. Lived with him.
Yeah.
And we kind of had that where to know that was in depth, but we had the same nerdy kind of likes. So we sort of a lot of people laughed at us, especially laughed at us for it. But there were clips of shows, and he's probably laughing at the other end because we would scream these at each other, really struggling. There was one particular, my favourite. It's a Special Forces program, American Special Forces, and they're saying to the guy, he says, I can't. And an instructor immediately says, and he's quit, then quit. So we used to, if one of us was moaning, go up to the other one. So if Kieran was saying, oh, my ankle's tore, I'd go, oh, it's your ankle. Oh, yeah. Then quit. Without fail. bring us out with the Daltons every single time. Whether that was because we were angry at the other person, making light of what we thought was a big deal, or because we were like, yeah, a bit of a wimp at the moment. So you can see how I'm sensitive at the moment.
I can, and I know you are, but I'm glad Kieran will be happy about that, and you definitely need those people.
Yeah.
You just insulted. What did you say then? You paused.
I said I've not seen him do it. Yeah.
Well, he obviously doesn't care. So, but I apologise for everyone else that trained with Grant. He's just offended you all, so I do apologise.
Right.
What about outside of a team then?
Sorry?
Outside of your teams.
Again?
Oh, here he is. He's just commented.
Bloody hell, there he is. Yeah, outside of the team, to be honest.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm eating my people. Well, yeah, that's about right. I'd probably go with Chris Suggett, because whilst I explained that there were phases, you're with one group, then you're with another group. Chris Suggett, whilst it's Northwestern, and we only have together.
Yeah.
He was like a constant. I'd always see him. I'd always see him. So, yeah, Chris Suggett's got a choice there again.
Yeah.
Through stuff. So.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. I did have Chris Suggett in my head that I thought you might choose. Okay. I had Chris Suggett in my head, yeah, for outside, and just know you two lads got on. We got a couple of questions in the chat, and I don't want them to go by. So we got from Stan. What are your thoughts on the marginal gains you get from a shaven body or face? I don't know if this is a slide dig. And as opposed to a hairy body. So why do we shave basically? And
the one side of the coin, obviously, which is what more of a mental thing. I mean, we've all seen my lack of knowledge, but I do remember one massive beard, absolutely dominant at international. People are going to be, I don't know what athlete. So I think the game, you said it there, but I think it's more the fact that we just love to shave for the, really. So
just love it.
Great,
Fair enough. And then we did get a question: which coach at Stockport Metro turned you into the beast on the block? Now,
I know
before you answer, I'm going to just interject there and say Saracens actually started Grant's amazing starts, to be honest. But then obviously you got help through Stockport. So who was that helped you through that?
Yeah, I think, like you say, the beast on the block. He's talking about the start mentality. Both of them started at Saracens, and like I say, he was present. But Manchester, not by home. That it wasn't one coach.
Yeah.
Pretty fairly good when I got to Stockport. So I can't put it on any one coach. For Richard Blackshaw, 12 400s every Thursday, 12 weeks. And if I went less than the water off every single turn, started again. I don't think I did to this. Saw me go 5 meters. But
rough sessions.
Yeah, there's a lot of. But Richard Blackshaw definitely shift on my underwater face. Mm-hmm. That's the only.
Yeah. That leads me on to someone asked, what was your hardest session your whole swimming career? Now I know there's a few here, so try and pick one.
Can I have two?
Go on then, I'll give you two.
Thanks.
Because it's you.
Still there?
Yeah, still there.
Still there. Oh, back. Yeah. Okay. Negative. We did 10 100s, and the coach at the time, co-master Mark Rose, said, like, all right, you're doing these off 60. And knowing full well how to go, emotional intelligence to get around it, he was like, you might do that. I mean, struggle. You won't be able to do that. So I was like, we're going off. So
I
we
will.
can't do that. Like 1:04 it is. So we did 100, and I remember just all the laps in that lane. When the boys came, we were sat in the gutter. So that was
I remember that.
That was the worst. Mentally, the worst was when we were on another 6 best average. And
oh yeah, downstairs in the dungeon.
The dungeon downstairs, no window.
Yeah.
I think what made that was I wasn't going into that with a good mentality. We were all and we were starting on the back grind away to get it. Those two stand.
I remember those two very clearly.
They were the toughest sessions. I look back, I enjoyed them really. Not
yeah.
The hundreds I enjoyed.
There's been countless sessions, and I'm sure there's loads that we could sit and talk about, and loads that I've just looked across to you in the pool and just been like, why did Mum let us swim? But she didn't really want us to, so we can't even blame that.
No. And then we did, so there's that.
I'd like to touch on now the highest moment of your career. Like, what was the best? I've got an idea of what race it's going to be, but what was the best, highest moment of your career?
I'm such the worst interviewer. I've got one. One does stick out.
You've got one? Okay, you've got one. Go on then.
I was going to say I've got two, but one.
You can do two if you want.
Okay, I'll do the runner-up. The runner-up
right.
is that 50. When I was 15, I trained hard for about 9 months. Full stop.
It's good for you.
And my first national time, and I remember the most nervous. Well, equally the most nervous I've ever been. I remember walking around the pool with Mum and one walk back and be like, and I was absolutely terrified. How I even managed it, but that first national, I know it sticks out for always been.
Yeah, so that sticks out for me. It sticks out for me massively.
So that's definitely the runner-up. The second one is we were at
I hope this is the story.
This is the story. This is the relay, the 4x.
Oh, love it.
We came in with Manchester, the lads team. We were ranked something like 10th, and we made the final, and we had a real chance. Still got the video on my Facebook, and every single one of us was a performer, and it just the panic before the adrenaline during the race, the commentary from Hughie Porter.
Yeah. Used to love him as a commentator.
Brilliant. Just that whole event was win it at the end. I think Stockport Metro touched with 50 metres to go. We'd been all the way, and there was a part.
Brilliant.
That's it. And then I think it was John Muscroft did a laser back again and took it for us. And then about 2 minutes later, I moved to Stockport, so that was a bit shady. You know.
Yeah, but that race was absolutely phenomenal, and it's one of my top races. And I didn't even swim it, but the whole team was so buzzing for that.
So, little known fact for all non-swimmers, you can't really hear the cheer except in technical circles. You can hear the crowd. You know something's going well or something, and you can only hear it. And we could hear the roar of the crowd while we were the whole race.
I think all the lads in that situation, because the great thing was that both teams 1 and 2 were so close, but they're both up north, both northern teams, both had phenomenal swimmers, and it was literally so close. And I just remember screaming. I had a sore throat that night, but it was all worth it. And I was just so proud of you, and that moment sticks out massively because you were just amazing. And what a race. Do you know what I might do? I'd love to put that on my page, actually, because it was just so exciting.
Well, it was a tough race, so...
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. No, it was great. I knew that was coming, but I'm going to bring you right back down to rock bottom and ask you what your lowest moment in your swimming career has ever been.
The rest of it.
That was it.
So there is one that sticks out where I was ready to quit, and it wasn't. You know, everyone gets out and goes, "Oh, I'm quitting." And it wasn't one of those. There were times when, I kind of didn't get what I felt. They're always crushed, but funnily enough, it comes back to the one story that we told, the 1600. Absolutely crushed I was mentally. I'm absolutely destroyed. And the one thing that got me through it, I don't know if there's going to be anyone on this stream old enough to know what I'm talking about, but in the gym beforehand, I was on the rower and they carry on up the Cairo, all comment on the TV, and I love the Cairo. And it was that 10-minute Cairo, I believe, that stopped me from just walking at that point. I got a bit of a laugh out of it. I thought, fine, I'll do it. And then I went down to 15. Carry on. Weapon.
Oh, that was your lowest moment. I didn't expect that from you.
Well, like I say, there's probably been hundreds of low moments. God knows there was hundreds.
I mean, yeah.
But that sticks out in my head.
Right.
I'm going, this isn't worth it. I'm absolutely.
That's interesting, and I didn't know that. So that's something that I've learned. Bree's just said, "Sorry, I'm late, Bree."
Oh, I
was tut. Right, let me go through my list because, as you can see, I'm in different locations. So I'm on a book. I've got a book of magic here. This was a really good one. Now, obviously, you mentioned in the start that you went from distance to sprint.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to the first part of this question, but do you regret doing that? Do you wish you'd carried on with distance? No. You don't even have to ponder on that one,
no.
No.
I absolutely loved sprinting. And whilst I loved distance as well, but it came to 18-year-old me and said, back to training or sprinting, one every day. Every single day. Just love it.
Well, Brianna's obviously upset. She said you went to the dark side and left everyone in the distance group. So I hope it was worth it, Grant.
I'll wave from the gym if you're doing call it whatever you like.
You came over to the dark side. I did it. I did 800s and went over to sprint backstroke. So.
But to address a comment that Badders have put in the well, there were a hell of a lot of open water. The open water races were brilliant. That was the caveat. In the pool was great, but right decision. Open water was the one thing. If I could be a sprinter and still do open water, like they did 50 meters in a pond or something, I'd be all over that. I'd both ways. Sprint just. I was never scared of him. It rarely happened.
Oh, there's a bit of tension in the comment section now. This is great. First time for me. So the question following the one I asked before, you obviously switched over. Do you wish you'd have gone earlier, or were you quite happy when you switched?
No, because I think I was good at this. That point, this is awful. I'm gonna massive and just do. Well, it kind of was, but I felt that I got faster as I got older.
Yeah.
Both things happened at the same time. Was useful because I tried to 14, 15, I don't think I would have been able to do that.
Couldn't control your limbs.
I would have struggled. I would have struggled to make any teams after that. But yeah, no, I like. Or would you regret anything? No, I think I did that as I would.
You'd stick to what you did, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, I might have told. I've got to. Yeah.
I'm interested to. Well, I'm not interested. I think I know the answer to this. I am interested, obviously. But I think I might know the answer to. I think I might know the answer to this, but I don't know if you'll say it. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. But the funniest moment in swimming. Now, this. Well, I'll let you answer the question. Your funniest moment in swimming. Is there one that stands out or not?
There are a lot of really funny moments to start off with.
I know. Just scan through your brain and just check which ones are okay to say on the live stream.
Yeah,
because live you can't take it back, Grant. You can't take it back.
PG rating. Funniest moment. I feel awful because you'll say it and I'll be like, oh god, yeah, forgot about that. But
no. Well, I don't know.
Nothing's coming to mind as like a standout.
Okay.
That was my funniest. There was lots of that was hilarious because we were broken, or that was funny because we did this. Lots of good stories. I'm trying to think frantically through them all in case there's any things.
Well, is there one that came to you straight away that you were just like, oh yeah, or no?
Not really. I mean, Brianna stole a story about hiding in the forest when we were an hour.
Yeah, that was funny.
So for anyone listening who didn't hear Brianna do that, we set up an ambush when we were on a swim camp once. I can't remember where we were, but we set up an ambush in the woods with water balloons and waited for the group below us to come past. We'd all changed our clocks because the clocks changed, but we didn't know that the iPhone changed it for you. So it went double, and they were all already in the pool training. So after half an hour waiting, we got bored and went to the pool, and we paid for that big time. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, coach was furious. So we, I think
he was.
we paid straight just so he would still let me have the afternoon off. It was horrible.
We can laugh about it now, but we weren't laughing at the time, were we?
There's another one. Deegan's talking about me getting my spray tan and body shave. He's what is it with everyone and me shaving?
I'm not sure. Maybe it was a thing. I wasn't aware of it. But,
no, you are right though. You are right. So go on. What was the one you had in your head?
No, I don't know. I didn't know if it was going to be okay for the camera. So after the live finishes.
So you were prepared for me to say the dicey one?
Yeah. Well, if you throw yourself under the bus, then that's fine. I'm not going to throw you under it.
Can you give me a clue and I'll get it from that, or no?
You were on one of your teams.
I
think it was England Talent.
Oh God, England Talent was terrible.
Yeah, exactly. We can just leave that there.
What you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know exactly, but again, I wasn't sure if you were going to say it. And like I said, I'm not going to throw you under the bus.
Well, no, I'm happy to say it. Long story short, level 2 was kind of, this is what I'm talking about. You had level 3 that you were on, which was all the good committed swimmers. And you had level 2, which was these swimmers are pretty good, but the majority of them don't really care enough to have the nutrition and have the sleep that level 3 do, or they're just not quick enough yet. That's how we viewed ourselves anyway. And my God,
it's all right. I had to do this myself. Go on, carry on.
We were just so poorly behaved, like really bad, to the point where they took me and Chris Suggett out on poolside and said, "Sit there. We're going to have you apologise to the rest of the squad." Because we've been up for like 4 days straight at this point. And me, Chris, and a few others, we had to stand up in like the gathering and say what we were sorry for. And another mate of mine, Elliot Hines, listed off a whole load of things he'd done. And I listed off a load of things I'd done. And then someone else stood up and said, I was up out of bed late, and then sat back down and just got away with it. And I think on that camp, that was when they threatened repeatedly to never allow us on a team again. And we made the team next year, but I remember Chris Suggett sweating profusely. I don't know
if Chris is watching, but if he does, he'll bring him down.
He was convinced. I was arrogant and bullheadish, and he was convinced that his career was over, and
My
it was a good
brother.
combination.
Tut, tut, tut.
And then
Spen sent the thumbs up, by the way.
Who sent the thumbs up?
Spen. And Jay's just joined us. I know you train with Jay a lot. So
Jay, what time do you call? Actually, Jay, I think, was on that camp. So maybe Jay remembers that. The one where
might have tuned in at the right time there.
We did 6K timed with 0 sleep over 3 days. That was a good one.
By the way, if any young swimmers are watching, do not copy these stories because it's not a good idea.
Well, you know,
it isn't a good idea.
Not if you want to be on level 3. These are level 2 stories.
You think that, but you should speak to someone on level 3.
I have heard.
Yeah. So away from swimming a bit now, and the transition from actually no, there is a question here before we go off that. And that was, how did you find the atmosphere having a sibling at training? So the fact we were there together, we were lucky enough, or I say lucky enough, I don't know I'm not going to speak for you, but I loved having you at training, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, absolutely. But how did it change it for you? And do you ever wish that you were on your own? Go on, throw me under the bus.
There was a specific point I always wished I was on my own, but no, it was. The serious answer is it was amazing to have you there. Luckily, my entire career, you know, I could always rely on you. You know, you'd always stick up for me, and I would always stick up for you. And it was, you have mates, but then it's like something extra. You know, you always go home and you have that support. God knows you probably kept me from doing stupid things more than once, and kept me on the swimming path, whether that's good or not. But then after swimming, when I decided to have a shower with some mates and came out half an hour after you,
I wasn't
on the way home, Lauren's been out half an hour, she's got to get her meal and you don't care. That was like a daily occurrence for me. So there are downsides to it. Because everyone
sorry about that, but I was hungry, you know.
Because everyone else was like, oh, we did stretching, we've only just got out. Whereas you did more stretching than I did and was still at half an hour before me, so...
Wouldn't change it though, wouldn't change it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no, I remember those days, but it's all good. Wouldn't change any of it. So yeah. So now, obviously, going away from the swimming and transitioning out of swimming, it's a hard thing to do for any athlete in any sport. But how did you find the transition out, and why did you finish when you did?
I think I finished when I did because I thought it was time to move on then. You know, there's always that next step. What would you do? I didn't make the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games. And I thought, well, do you do another 2 or 4 years and maybe don't make it again? Or, you know, do you get on and try new things? And I think my last 12 months swimming was absolutely incredible. You know, I swam around the world. I trained and raced around the world. I had an amazing set of people around me. And I just had an amazing year and thought, if there's a time to leave it, that's the time. And again, you know, people say, oh, I shouldn't have left, I should have left. And for me, that was like a really good decision, I think. So I think I was lucky in that, and that definitely helped make the transition better. You obviously miss, and I still miss today, you know, the training and the competitions and the whole lifestyle, but you find other things to fill it. You know, it blows my mind at times, especially when I was younger, when I thought, you know, my God, we'd spend a weekend in Ponds Forge in Sheffield and that was your whole world. And it was so important, and it is amazing. You know, if this doesn't go well, it's the end of the world. And then you've got hundreds of people walking past Ponds Forge on the same day, not even knowing there's a race going on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of about that perspective. And I think whilst I had a final year that was perfect for me, and I just thought now is the time to put it to bed. That definitely helped that transition, and I just kind of filled it with other things after that. Fair
enough. Just a quick one that I've just thought of. What was your favourite pool that you ever raced in?
My favourite pool, I've got a lot of good memories, a lot of pools, but my favourite location was Marseille. For anyone who's not been to Marseille, the pool is exceptional. There's a massive 50-metre pool. There's an outside pool you can swim down in. I think there's a diving pit in there, but it's also kind of on a plateau over cliffs overlooking the sea. So if you want to swim in the sea to swim down, you just walk out onto the cliffs and back up into the sea. It's brilliant. It's
I remember the call room's looking out to sea, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And you know me, I love the sea, so I just
yeah.
that's my favourite. Got a funny story about that as well, but that's definitely not one for Instagram.
I know what you're talking about, but that was a great
good learning experience for younger swimmers.
It was.
I can't.
Things that go bad, you learn from them, don't you? And you definitely learn from that one.
Don't try new things on race day. That's all I'll say.
No, don't. Please don't. My last question to you, Grant, and I'm going to give you a bit of time to think about this just whilst I'll say a few things, but is if you, to any younger athletes, younger swimmers or just younger athletes in general, or if you could speak to your younger self, what one piece of advice would you give? You know, what little nugget that you've got that you can share with everyone?
I doubt my younger self would listen to an old has-been.
But if you could force yourself to listen.
It's funny because we had this conversation quite recently, I feel, and it's so cliche and it's so kind of like, you know, it's what everyone says. But if I could just grab a child by the head and say, enjoy your swimming, like the Billy Madison clip, enjoy it, stay as long as you can. It's so good, and you just got to enjoy it, even the bad times, because you'll look back like we have today and gone 1500s, my soul was crushed, I wanted to quit, and we say it with a smile on our face because really it's about the experience. You know, swam and trained and raced all around the world, the amazing people I've met and trained with and raced with, and I've been that fortunate to have these experiences, and it's built me into the person I am today. Obviously I've been nothing like I am now today, but I credit most of that to swimming, and obviously your support, mum and dad's support, everyone who got me through that, because it's not, you don't do it on your own. But that's a very long-winded way to answer the question. I suppose the short answer is just enjoy it, and if work hard. If you want to do it, work hard. It's not the end of the world, but you have to work hard. Don't just doss it away and think, oh, I've got time, I'll train hard later, or I'll shape up for race day. You know, work as hard as you can, because that's what you're there to do. But make sure you enjoy it and savour the time, because again, sounding like a cliche old man on his deathbed, you can't go back. No. You know, youth is wasted on the young and all that rubbish. But,
it goes quick. Definitely goes quick.
It does. And I don't think I've met anyone that, when I've said to them, you know, would you go back and do all the swimming again? I don't think anyone I've ever asked has said no. So even doing it alongside studying, you know, like when I was doing law at university, it was awful. Like I was doing 14-hour days, no enjoyment for myself for like 6 months. But at any point I could have gone, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do swimming. I don't want to do university, and could have walked from either of them. It was my choice. And in a weird way, again, you kind of enjoy it. So make sure you stop and savour it. You know, when you get to competition, make sure you stop and look around and go, oh, this is good, this, you know, I'm going to enjoy today. So that's my one piece of advice. Savour it, you know, enjoy the time.
Definitely. And that's something I always try and get across to people, but again, like we joked about the other day, it's really hard to say to someone younger or someone that's about to go through it to enjoy it. It's
I'm
like
sure,
they have to experience it themselves.
I'm sure loads of people told me to savour it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we would have turned to each other and gone, yeah, right, okay.
All right, right, okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know that I said that was the last question, but I think something that's really, that I would like to ask you, just last question, and I think it would be helpful for a lot of people, because I didn't do it, I didn't do this, and I admire anyone that did, and I used to look at you and think, how the hell are you doing it? Was how do you balance, so you did a law degree and training 10 times a week. How do you balance that? How did you balance that? Now, before you answer it, you're a very intelligent person, I know. So for you, I know that even the people you used to go to uni with used to say that Oh, I sort of lost you here.
Yeah, you kind of broke up a little bit there. Are you
Yeah,
still
I
there?
lost you a bit. I think I've got you back now.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I can kind of see you.
Okay.
So
My
I think
blob.
the question was how do you balance it, and then you kind of rambled a bit. I don't know what you said, but
Yeah.
I think there's two things I'd like to say about that. Firstly, I didn't do it on my own. It was a hell of a lot of support from you, hell of a lot of support from mum and dad, you know, and a lot of other people. I had Tom Raden at university covering for me most of the time when I had to be absent. I say had to be absent, chose to be absent. He'd always pass work on, you know, and so you don't do it on your own. But again, it is a hell of a lot of work, and only you can do it at the end of the day. But as I just mentioned in the last question, it was my choice, and I kind of reminded myself of that. You know, there's always that option to quit, and there's always that option to quit in everything. You know, swimmers always have that option to quit and just walk away. But if it's important to you, you stick it out and you find a way to do it. You know, for 6 months, I just tended not to talk to anyone. Just got my head down, and I'm sure a few people.
Yeah, I remember that time.
I'm sure a few people will go, "Oh yeah, I remember that, Grant." But you know, it got me through. So
had to be done. Yeah.
Had to be done. So
got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it was my choice, and it was like, if back to what we were saying about Kieran, you know, oh, you're doing a lot, are you? You're doing a lot, then quit. I was like, well, I do want to do it, so I guess I better just shut up and carry on.
Yeah.
So.
No, you handled it amazing and did amazing with both. So yeah, I was
Thank you.
Obviously really proud of you. So that was all the questions. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. That was obviously a really special episode for me, and it's nice for me to talk to Grant just anyway about his swimming career, because you know, a lot of it was about me, and Grant had an amazing career and had his own journey, and so it's nice to talk to him about that. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've taken something from it. Thanks for joining me, Grant.
I'm not looking forward to the barrage of angry messages. Oh, I didn't get it.
Although we've just had a couple of lovely comments there. Thanks. Awesome insight, guys. So that's really nice. And Mel, thanks, Mel. I'm glad you watched.
Mel's my lovely girlfriend that keeps me grounded now.
But yeah, no, thanks for tuning in. That was a special one. And Grant, I'm dead proud of you. Oh, Mum, thanks, Mum.
Why quickly?
But no, I'm dead proud of you, Grant. And I haven't had the opportunity to say it often, but I really am. And I love you lots, and just, you know, you're an amazing brother and everything else.
Thank you.
Yeah. No. So yeah, thanks for everyone tuning in. Tune in next week. We've got.
I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to say it, but I'm proud of you too, and I love you too.
Oh,
you're going to carry on and then just cut it. So I best put it in.
I was cracking on with next week's episode.
You can do that. You can do that in a minute. Radis and Kieran both there. Guys.
But yeah, no, thanks for coming on. That was really special for me. And yeah, next week we're going back into the triathlon world. So yeah, so tune in, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon, Grant. I'll probably call you now.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.